Let's turn now to the preparation of your defense proper, which after some formalities usually starts with a presentation on your thesis. You have probably presented your doctoral research before, of course, in research colloquia, conferences, you name it. And you can build on that experience. This should go without saying, but all rules for making a coherent and appealing presentation apply also to your thesis defense, of course. I have seen rather bad presentations even at such an important event as a doctoral defense. There's another short course in this series on how to make a good presentation, which you might want to check out, so I will just focus on some main points here. Try to use slides as effectively and efficiently as possible. Do not prepare too many and do not put too much content on them, as it just distracts listeners. Remember that slides are good for a few phrases or bullet points, for showing graphs, pictures, quotes. They are not at all good as notepads for your talk. Also important in a defense situation, be prepared to hold the talk without slides, or if you cannot do without them, have printouts for your PhD committee members ready in case of a major technical problem, a power cut or anything like that. If you want to use handouts, use them rather for graphs and not for text, otherwise people do not look at you anymore, but just at the handout. And when you talk, remember that many people in the room, including committee members, might be new to your topic. So use some rhetorical standard tools and guide the listener through your presentation. Connect, introduce, summarize different parts, highlight main points, etc. And try to look at the audience when you talk, not down at your notes or even behind you on your slides. The audience will understand you much better and you signal that you're confident about what you have to say. And if eye contact makes you nervous, look at a friendly face in the room or just fixate an object in the middle of the audience. Very important, but still often not followed, do not rush, but finish on time. The maximum time for a presentation is in many cases fixed, so extending it might affect the assessment of your presentation. I saw sometimes candidates speaking faster when reminded about the approaching end of their time. If time runs out, rather leave things out or for the discussion and focus on a few remaining main points. Much better, of course, avoid such a situation from the very beginning by practicing your talk. When you practice at first alone, do not only look at your notes or slides and think about, okay, what could I now say, but speak out loud. Thereby you will not only see how much time you really need, but you also detect the gaps in your thinking much better. And in case you get nervous in your defense or face a blackout or anything like that, you will remember the wording you have used in your training. Another way to deal with nervousness is to learn the first sentences of your presentation by heart. And once the ice is broken and one has a good feeling and a good start, self-confidence will grow and the rest will come easy. Many candidates also organize a rehearsal with colleagues or friends. Apart from the training effect for yourself, the participants can give you valuable feedback on your presentation. So I would always recommend that kind of measure if you have time and capacity to organize something like that. More on this also later. All this still refers to general aspects of any presentation. But let's look now on 3 more specific issues of a PhD defense. First of all, your talk needs to have an appropriate scope. The challenge here is to provide a substantial presentation of your thesis on the one hand, because some of the committee members might be completely new to it and others in the room too. On the other hand, however, time is limited and it proves your ability to reflect on your own work if you are able to focus on what's really important. So do not squeeze every aspect of your thesis into your presentation. Less is more here, and the committee can ask questions if they want to hear more. What about the content of your presentation? Many people structure it simply along their chapters. This is okay, but you might want to make sure that you thereby cover the following important points, or you structure your talk around them from the very beginning. This includes an introduction, which contains the research topic and the structure of your talk, the explanation of your research problem, including the research questions and the aims underpinning your research. And you also need to reflect on the state of your field, especially the literature on your field or of your field. This can also be part of the previous points, but it should always be part of your talk. Present your methodology and your methods, your research methods, and of course, your main findings. Discuss those findings. How do they relate to your academic field and contribute to its advancement? And then a few possible elements could come in. as for instance the practical significance of your work, or an outlook how you will build on it in subsequent research if this is an option for you. A question I often received was whether and how one should react to critical points raised in the examination reports. My advice would be to always address major critical points, but in an elegant way. So don't neglect the critique you might have received, but also do not focus your whole presentation too much on it. You could either include your reaction to the critique in the related part of your presentation. So for instance, if an examiner considers your methods inappropriate, reply to this in your methods part. Alternatively, deal with the main critical points in one go at the end of your presentation and relate this to an outlook on how you would improve your work further. Whatever your approach, most committee members want to know what you have to say on critical points in the reports, and some expect this even. Anyway, it demonstrates your ability to deal with critique, and you can take it as an opportunity to develop your work further.